we're doing these classes now once a month. We did the last two were very well received. And one thing I'll tell everybody, and I don't know anybody's, some people might be rock stars on here, some people might be newer. I'm going to just assume that nobody knows a lot, and I don't know. We'll see. But one of the things I always want to do is I want to help you guys grow your business. That's really what I do, and some people on here know me well and know that's really from the heart. I just want you to succeed. And this is a tough business. And the reason why it's a tough business is because nobody systemizes themselves. And, based on my last class we taught, which was called Are You Building a Business or a Crappy Job? I find that most realtors don't build a systemized business. They actually build just a crappy job. And so today we're going to talk about is basically how I got started in the business. And I sold a lot. I'll give you my background. I sold 36 homes my first year, 50 my second, 80 my third, 80 my fourth. And then started my team that year, and then started my brokerage in 2005, and then merged that brokerage with EXP in 2017. And now I run an organization of about 2,250 agents in 49 states and 7 countries. And all I can tell you is you've got to find what you'll actually do in this business to be successful. And a lot of people will say, yeah. And I coached over 300 agents last year. And I can tell you, most people didn't do the work. And I can't fix that. I can give you systems. I can teach you whatever you want to teach you. As a lot of you guys know, I don't mind doing coaching sessions as my time allows. But I can't fix the work ethic part of this business. One of the most frustrating things for me being an entrepreneur and self-employed my whole life is getting people to understand you are running a business. You're not having a job. The hardest thing I hear is, well, this is how I do my job. No, that's the wrong words. It gets you in the wrong direction. You should be saying, this is how I run my business. So today we're going to talk about 2 things. We're going to talk about open houses. We're going to talk about your sphere of influence. These are the, open houses was my bread and butter my first year, 2 years in the business. I sold 36 homes my first year. Like I said, 28 were from open houses. So we're going to start with that, and then we'll get into the sphere of influence and how you should be doing that. And let me get the recording going. Oh, we already got going. Let me get my share going, and we'll get rocking here. So let me get that screen. All right. Boom. So the first question I always ask, and I can't, by the way, when we're doing this, I can't see the chat box, I don't think. Maybe I can. Oh, I can. So the one thing I want you to think about is, what business are you in? Right? What business are we in? We're all in the same business, and that's going to change a little bit in a little bit. But what business are we in? The reality is we're in the lead generation business. So if you're not generating leads, you do not have a business. And that's all we're going to talk about today, is how to generate leads from these 2 specific areas. My next class will probably be what I call Kick It Up a Notch, which is a kickstart program, not just for new agents, but for all agents. And that'll have a whole bunch of lead generation in there. But this one today, we're just concentrating on 2 aspects of your business: open houses and sphere of influence. But understand, the minute you get your license, become a realtor, you're in the lead generation business. With no leads, you're not doing anything else. And what I find a lot is people will say, well, I'm not in the lead generation. I'm in the people business. I'm in the relationship business. All that's true, but you have to have leads first, right? So open houses will give you a very consistent business. I only had 2 months when I sold full-time, in my full-time selling career, where I didn't have sales. It was April and May of 2004, which is funny because it was a really busy year. But that June, I had 13 closings. Other than that, because of open houses, I never had an issue with cash flow. Cash always came in because I always had closings going on. And you can do this yourself, but you have to be consistent. And we're going to talk about how to be consistent in this and how to do this. The one thing I always recommend, it's a little easier now, it's a little challenging in the last couple of years, but you should always do the same house every week. Even when I was selling 80 homes a year, I still did open houses every weekend. I never stopped doing open. I don't think I ever missed a weekend unless I was on vacation. So let's get right into it. First of all, it's really important to pick the right house. I don't do gated communities because they're a pain in the neck and it causes problems with the neighbors. So I would stay away from gated communities. And I'm going to get into why I do the stuff I'm talking about here in a bit. I always pick a neighborhood where I'm going to find 2 or more active listings that are vacant, in the neighborhood. I don't want to have just my open house. I want to have my vacant homes that I can go show also, which we'll talk about how I do that. I only do vacant open houses because I want to make sure I'm not displacing the homeowner. And I like homes that are going to be on the market for a while. So I actually don't mind doing overpriced homes. Of course, they wouldn't be mine because I don't overprice my homes anymore. But I want to do homes that are going to be in the market because I want to stay in that neighborhood. This is part of also how you own a neighborhood, right? There's a whole another thing we'll teach on that sooner in an upcoming class. Excuse me, but right now I want to be that neighborhood every week. I want the homeowners seeing me there. And why do I want them seeing me there every week? Because if they're going to sell their homes at any point, I want them to know that I'm the hardest working guy in real estate. I always did 10 to 4. Saturday or Sunday. When I first started, if you're new out there, you should be doing open houses Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 10 to 4, right? If you have nothing going on, why not sit in an open house every day? A lot of people talk about office space. With EXP, we don't have office space for those of us who are in EXP. However, you can go do all your work out of a vacant house all day long, right? I do not advertise, and I have that in bold because this is really important. I don't advertise my open houses because I can leave if I need to. If you advertise your open houses, you cannot leave. We did a study on this a while back, and it was an interesting study because my agents never believe me on this. And by the way, almost none of my agents will actually do what I tell them to do on this stuff. It drives me crazy, but that's their business to run, not mine. And by the way, I never had less than 24 sales from open houses. I think I have a little bit of knowledge on this. Only 10% of the people that come to open houses come from signs. A question here from Brittany. How do we find open houses to go to? Do we need to have an agreement with the listing agent? Generally not. If it's within your brokerage, there's no issue. Some brokerages require some sort of liability form with agents, but generally most listing agents will let you do open houses. I would always go to people in your brokerage first, so it's not hard to find them. Okay, so lots of signs. Since 90% of my attendees come from signs, I always put up between 20 and 30 signs. Right, never less than 20. And I put them in groups of like 5 or 3 or 4. And you have to make sure that your signs are going directly to the house and get you to the house. I went to an open house not too long ago where, and I'm going to go back and answer questions in a little bit once we get through some of this stuff. I went to an open house not too long ago. I tried to find the open house. They had a sign at the entrance to the neighborhood. I couldn't find the open house. They had no more signs. So if I couldn't find it and I was actually looking for it, I'm sure most people couldn't find it. I always put balloons on my signs. I know it sounds hokey, but people notice that stuff. And I bought open house flags because I wanted to make it look like it was an event. I didn't want it to just be, here I am. I wanted to make it look like an event. Okay? So here's what you need. You need your laptop. Obviously, it's a lot easier, by the way, now doing an open house than when I was doing them back in 2001 through 5, because back then we didn't have anything wireless. Do not print out your listings to give to them. You're going to text or email that to them. Do not print out your listings in the neighborhood. Do not print out listings in the surrounding neighborhoods. Create links on your phone that you can use on your phone to text them. And why am I doing that? Because it guarantees me getting their email or their phone number, right? So just simply, hey, would you like the listing? Sure. Great. Let me text it to you. Do you have it in printout? No, I don't have it in printout. We don't do paper anymore. Right. So I never have links. Even with business cards, let me go back for a second. I don't even hand out business cards anymore. So how do I handle that? Someone say, hey, Mitch, do you have a business card? I say, actually, I don't have any on me. Do you mind if I send you my contact info by phone? And they always say yes, always. And now what do I have? I have their phone number. So I don't wait for people to call me. I'm going to be proactive. And that's the difference between a proactive realtor and a reactive realtor. I'm going to be proactive in getting people to get their information so I can call them. Right? I can't call them if they have my phone, but I don't have theirs. Business cards end up where? In the trash. We all know that. I literally empty my top drawer in my bedroom. I throw all my business cards in that I get every day or every week or whatever. And at the end of the year, I go through them for about 8 seconds and throw them all away. I don't know why I keep them, but it's been a habit now for many, many years. Make sure you have something to drink there. Make sure you have some sort of finger food. The better it is, right? The more you have, the better it is. Sometimes you might want to go, like I used to do this a lot. I would do I'd go door knock the neighborhood, and say I'm going to be doing an open house tomorrow. It's from 10 to 4. However, I'm doing a special one from 9 to 10, and I might make it a breakfast. I might actually bring in a breakfast for that, and have a little more upscale from 9 to 10 for the neighbors, because I really want those neighbors to get to know me. I think it's really important to do that. Okay, again, I have lots of questions coming in, but we'll deal with that when we're done here. Messaging. So this is super important. If you do nothing, if you get nothing from what I teach you today, right? I want you to learn this one thing is never ask a person, are you working with a realtor? Because almost always they're going to say yes. That's the same as just looking when they're looking at when you're shopping, right? Can I help you? Well, I'm just looking. When you ask if they work with a realtor, they say yes. So I want you to change the language, and I want you to use the words, which realtor in town are you working with? Now, if they say somebody, so say they said Bill Smith. Oh, Bill's a great guy. Even if I don't know the person, I'm going to say nice things about Bill, right? I never bash another agent or another brokerage, because that's just downright rude. So how do you know Bill? That's the next line out of my mouth. And they're going to say, well, he's been sending me listings. Oh, has he shown you any property yet? No. Well, how did you meet him? We registered on his website. Now, in that scenario, they are not working with Bill, most likely. I will personally never steal a customer from another realtor, no matter what. It's totally against my ethics and morals. But if they're not really working with the person, they just registered on a website, that's not working with the person. So I'll dig a little deeper. If they say, oh, yeah, Bill's been out showing us property, I'm going to call Bill as soon as they leave and say, hey, Bill, I just wanted to let you know that Mr. and Mrs. Thompson came in, and they came into my open house here, and I just want to let you know you should get in touch with them. So that's number one. Then I say to them when they're coming in, remember I said earlier I like to have homes that are vacant? I'm going to say, when they're done looking at the house, I'm going to say to them, so what do you think about the house? Common sense, right? And they almost always say the same thing. That's nice. I go, is this something you'd like to make an offer on? Almost always they say no. In fact, I've personally never sold a home at an open house, and I've done hundreds and hundreds of open houses. I said, well, is this the price range you're looking for? They always say, yeah, right around this price range. I have a couple more homes around the corner that are for sale that I can go show you, that I got permission to show. Would you like to go take a look at them? 80%, that's the number. I tracked all this stuff when I was doing all this stuff. 80% said yes. So what I would do is I had a little be-back in 30-minute sign that I put on the door, and then I get them in my car, and I take them to these two homes. Excuse me. And my goal of these two homes is not to sell them anything. I want to find out if they're buying or selling, if they're buying it now, and if they're pre-approved now. And if they are, we're going to have a different conversation. We'll get to that in a second. Also, what I say to people when they're coming in is one of the things I like to do for people to come to my open houses is set them up on a listing update system. There's not a lot of inventory right now. Would you like me to do that? We use KV Core, which has an open house app. It goes directly into your CRM. So again, I make everybody sign in. I've never had an issue with that. So that's a comment I have with a lot of my agents. They'll say, well, nobody wants to sign in. They're going to pick up on how your confidence level is. I've never had a problem with it. Everybody is signed in. And so one of the things you might want to say is, well, our broker requires it for safety reasons, or the owner requires it for safety reasons. And generally that'll stop them from that objection. But I make everybody sign in. And then again, like I said earlier, can I text you the listing? I'm going to text you the listing because I'm not going to give you sheets. I'm not going to do anything printed. So when I'm in the car with the person, now I'm going to look at those two other homes. I don't talk about real estate at all. I literally just talk about their family, their lifestyle, why they're moving, do they have kids? I'm an ex-athlete, although I think I still am an athlete, but if you see me, I'm not. But I will ask, I always like this, you have a kid? Oh, yeah, Billy. I don't know why I always use the name Bill and Billy. I always do. What does he play? Baseball? Of course, that makes it easy for me. When's his next game? Tuesday. I'm going to call them on Wednesday and say, hey, how was Billy's game last night? When you do that, you solidify that relationship. This is all about building relationships, right? And the more you talk about them, or they talk about themselves, and you ask questions about their family and where they grew up, why they're moving, just personal stuff, and you build that relationship. Because why do I want to do that? Because I want them to be my friend. because friends will work with friends. And I can tell you, actually, there's only two people that I know that I lost as customers over the years. And both of them I wanted to lose, by the way, so it was okay. And that's because I became their friends. I would tell you now, I've been here now doing this for 23 years. Almost all my friends that I have are people that I sold houses to. That's how I met them, or on the golf course. So this is what I do. This is so important to this puzzle. This is why I want to take them to another house. And again, my only goal is to find out if they're buying now and if they're pre-approved now. And when I get that response from them, what I'm going to do, my voice is cracking, what I'm going to do is say in that second house, say, you guys seem like a really nice couple. If you'd like, I'm not really in the mood to do an open house the rest of the day. Would you guys like to look at more property? Almost all of them, not all of them, but almost all of them will say yes. And then you literally go back to the house, go pick up your signs, go back to the house, and go on the computer and set up appointments. That's how I was so good at selling open houses and sold so many. I never sold less than 24. Like I said, it was always between 24 and 30 sales a year from open houses, all from the leads from open houses. But it's all about building that relationship. It's hard to build a relationship in 2 minutes when they're walking through the house and stuff like that. So that's why I came up with this concept. The reason why I don't advertise and want to be able to leave is because at one point I had a guy come in and I opened my open house at 10 o'clock, came in at 10:15. I'm like, would you like to look at houses when I get done at 4 o'clock? He's like, yeah, that'd be great. And back then you had to meet at the office because we didn't have wireless, like I said. And of course, he never showed up, never responded to my phone calls. I did sell my first house 5 days into the business from my first open house. But I did it because they came in at 3:45. Yeah, actually, that time I was only doing 1 to 3 before I expanded my hours. They came in at 3:45, and I was getting ready to leave, so it worked out fine. All right. And let's look at the numbers so you understand how this works. One of the reasons why people quit doing open houses is because it's not generally an instant gratification. So I always like to set expectations with agents and myself. What you do today will generate sales for you in 90 days. And that goes for a lot of stuff that we do in real estate. But what you do with open houses will generate in 90 days. I always do the same house every week, right? And if I average only 2 visits per day, which right now you're averaging more, that's 8 visits per month. And I will guarantee you that 2 out of those 8 are buying a home now. Always has, right? But you won't start getting sales till 90 days later. Right? So you have to be prepared for that. And so this is kind of what it looks like. And I'm not going to read through this from you, but your first couple of months, you may not get any contracts. Now, I did 5 days in, and you can too. But, don't go with that expectation. You're building a business. You're building a foundation. And I want you to understand that doing this every week is going to build a sustainable, repeatable, predictable, which I love, business. This all makes sense here? So in March, from your first 2 months, you'll get 1 sale from the January lead. April, you'll get 1 sale from January, 1 from February. May, you'll get 1 from February, 1 from March, 1 from April, and so on. And it becomes predictable. Really, really simple. All right. That's open house. So before we get into it, let's go. Let me answer a few questions we have here. So we found can we do other companies' open houses? Yes, we can do other companies' open houses. Again, some companies will require you to fill out a form to do a different thing, right? And next question: when you give a card, get a card, meaning you have them put their info on your phone, then I text them my business card? Yes, I just text them my business card. That's all. Pretty simple. Gerald, thanks for coming on, but we will be sending the recording to everybody. Okay? All right. So remember I said, and I've said it a few times now, it's all about building your foundation. So I just opened my 24th, 25th, 26th companies, and I have one constant of every company I've ever owned, with the exception of a couple, was who's my customer, where's my customer. Now I want to do this little game with you guys. I want you guys to take out your phone, and I know this works with iPhones. I don't know if it works with Androids. If you go into your phone, take a look at your phone, go to your contacts. Okay, that means you pick out your phone, go to your contacts, and I want you to type in the chat. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, I want you to type in the chat and see how many contacts you have in your phone. So go take a second to do that, because we're going to do this together right now. And I'm not going to talk anymore until you start posting some stuff in there. So I want to see how many Taylor has 500. Invest has 15,000. That's crazy of us. All right, a few more. Give me a few more in there. 955. You're gonna love this. 325. Invest has more than one phone. 1379 for Melody. Hey Melody, how you doing, kiddo? Lots of duplicates. Yep, I get that. 1347. All right, 1500. This is great. So here's the statistic. This is an NAR stat. The 7 out of 100 contacts in your phone are going to, just contacts, are going to buy or sell a home this year. Yet nobody I've talked to, I've trained thousands of it, nobody's ever taken their phone, exported their contacts, and got all the emails for those contacts and created a, again, consistent business with their contacts. Everybody's so busy chasing new leads, spending $300-400 on Zillow leads, or being part of a team and giving up 50% because you don't want to generate leads yourself. I just don't get that. If you're in a business, I want you to run a business. I know I keep harping on that, but I truly want you to run a business, and it starts with your database, right? All my businesses I've ever had, I mastered database marketing. Right? We're not going to talk about database marketing. It's a whole other game. We're just going to talk about one aspect of that today. So it literally is the most underutilized gold mine in real estate, and nobody does it. Now, one of my agents that I coach, she did it, and she had 1,200 contacts, and she got 800 emails out of her 1,200 contacts. We'll talk in a second how to do that. And that will equate to about 56 sales this year for her. Right, and she's already killing it after, I think she's 3 months or 4 months into this. She's already got contracts from doing what we're going to talk about. So all you've got to do is when you're sitting at home, right, eating bonbons, right, drinking milk. Who drinks milk? And as you sit there on your phone and you say, "Hey Tom, just updating my contact list. What's your email?" Right, and you just go down. And that can be a copy paste, except for the person's name. And you have to say the person's name. If you're just copy and pasting that, that's not cool. No one's going to give you their info. What we found for the people who do this, about 65% will give you their phone number. Now, a lot of people will say, well, what about the other people? Don't worry about the other people. Right? Just worry about the ones you get. Yeah, but some of these people had some ridiculous numbers in there, right? We had almost 2,000 for Kevin. That's 140 sales sitting in there, right? If you work your database. So that's it. So I want you all to sit there and put in a spreadsheet all the people that you know, right? And then I want you to take it to even a higher level. We're going to create 2 lists. So the first list is all those people on your phone, all those friends of yours that are on Facebook, that are local, everybody within your service area that you know. Your friends, parents may not be in your phone. You want their email addresses. Everybody's email addresses that you know, okay? And it's the way it's work. Let me talk about that for a second. So, I just finishing up my 3rd book right now. It's actually my 4th, but my 3rd real book. And people ask me, how do you write books? And so I write books 15 minutes a day. Generally, it takes me 2 years to write a book. Now, my new book, which is all my stuff I'm doing right now is based on, is called The Big Lie. It's going to be out the end of May. I should be done with it and ready to publish it. But I do big projects 15 minutes a day because most people will not do a big project because it's too overwhelming. So with this, if you sit at 9 o'clock every morning, right, and you do, I don't know, a half hour to an hour of this every day, right, in 30 days, you're going to have your list complete. Right? So you're building a business, you got to build the foundation. So 2 lists. Your first list is all the people in your service area. Right? Your second list is everybody else. So for instance, I have tons of friends in Boston, and so that's a separate list. Right? And then all my lists here in Brevard County, Florida, which is what I handle, is a separate list. Anybody else people all over the country that I'm friends with, they would be in my out-of-area friends list, friends and family and acquaintances. Okay? So the more names you hit, the more opportunity you have. Remember, 7 out of 100 of those are going to buy or sell a home this year. All right. We use an email program. I like MailChimp, MailChimp.com. I believe they're free for up to 2,000 contacts, but they might have changed to $10 or $20. Constant Contact, I think, starts at about $20. Either one of those programs are good. I'm familiar with MailChimp. I like it. It's a good program. But you need a program that you can track who's opening their emails. Now, one thing I don't want you to do is I don't want you to put these contacts in your CRM. So if you're using a CRM, keep it separate. Why do we do that? What I found about working databases, and we had a very large database when I owned my brokerage of over 100,000 leads. Once an agent has more than 300, 400, 500 leads in their database, they don't work their database anymore because it's overwhelming. Right now, some people do. I know there's always one or two that do, but generally speaking, I saw hundreds of agents come through my brokerage. Most of the agents would not work them when they get a higher database. In fact, we would stop people out before I realized this. With sometimes 1,000 leads, I had so many leads, they never did it. But when I started people out with 30 leads, they got sales within 30 days. So once they raise their hand, once they say, yes, I'm interested in buying or selling a home, now you put them in the CRM. And what that does is it keeps your CRM clear and clean. The cleaner your CRM is, the more sales you'll get. So here's your emails. Let's talk about your emails. And this is really simple, by the way. You're going to send out 2 emails a month. And the first email is going to be a market update email. And it's going to start something like, hi Mitch, right? One of the things I do for my friends and family locally is I keep them updated on the local real estate market here and wherever you are. Below are the market updates. Every board sends out market updates for their county. Every board does it in the country. I have not found a board that doesn't yet. All you're going to do is copy and paste that into the body of this email. Right? And then this is the most important part. I'm going to leave this up so you can take a picture of this. But it's really important that you end it exactly like this. As you know, as a realtor, I work by referral only, and I could really, really use your help. If you know anyone looking to buy or sell a home, would you mind sending me their contact info? A couple things going on here that are important. Really, really is very powerful. Really, really is very, very powerful. It's a psychological thing because it means you're really asking for help. Your friends and your family will help you, but here's what happens. Why do you think people use you as a realtor? Actually, I'm going to leave that. Why do you think people use you as a realtor? Give me some answers in there. No, like, and trust. They trust me. Taylor, you've heard me say this before, you're cheating. Yes, it's because you're in front of them when you're thinking about buying or selling. That's it, right? Yes, if they're referred, right, that's someone buying. You're in front of them when they're buying or selling. That's why people use you. There's so many realtors no matter where you are. Like in Brevard County, Florida here, we have 650,000 residents. We have 6,000 realtors. Almost 1% of the population is a realtor. In fact, one of the jokes we make is if you get pulled over by a cop, they ask you for your driver's license, then they ask you for your real estate license. So the only main reason they're going to use you is because you happen to be in front of them. I had a girl recently could be the past year or so, really upset with her uncle because she didn't buy a house from her. And I said, well, when was the last time you talked to him? She goes, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 months ago. I don't know. She goes, well, why would you expect him to remember that you're a realtor? I don't know what my relatives do for their business. I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. I mean, I might know they're in the profession, but not really. I couldn't tell you. Literally, my cousins, I have a niece and a nephew. They have no idea what they do for a living. So don't expect people are going to remember that you're a realtor. That's why what we're talking about here today is so important. You're going to be in front of them twice a month now. It's not as much about the content. It's about the content. And the other thing I want to caution you at, don't overdo it. The reason why I do twice a month and not 4 times a month is because 4 times a month becomes that email, and you all get them. That, oh yeah, that's interesting. I'm not gonna read it, and you just delete it. I get 100 of those a day that I don't read, unless the subject line is really, really compelling, which it very seldom is, and I just delete them. Twice a month, if you're giving them information they want, like the market updates to their local area, they want that. They'll open that. Okay, so we do this exactly how it is. Don't deter from it. And consistency is everything. Consistency, marketing equals consistency equals sales. I don't care what you decide to do in business, and I don't care if it's real estate. I don't care what business you're doing. If you are not consistent, you will not be successful. We do a live events here every other month. Had one the other day, and I had an agent in there that came to me a couple of days before. He goes, "I'm just trying to build a consistent business." I go, "What are you doing consistently to do that?" And he goes, "Oh, I see where you're going with that." He goes, "He doesn't do anything consistent. Whatever you do, do it consistently." I have an agent in California that does 30 sales a year just sitting at Starbucks, right? Which will be on my next webinar. We'll talk about how to do that. But he does it every day, Monday through Friday from 8 to 11. That's his business. All right. So market area is getting this email, market updates, and you're ending with this phrase below, okay, this line below. Out of area, a little bit different. I'm going to tell you the story behind this. And I try to keep these things between 30 and 45 minutes, by the way, answer questions afterwards. So when I first got my license, my buddy Joe was the guy that talked me into getting my license. He's been friends with me for years. He was my lead guitar player in my band back in the day. A great guy. And we've been friends for 45, almost 50 years now. And he said, when I lost my online dating service and lost all my money, he's like, "Man, you'd be the best realtor in the world. You need to get your license." I'm like, "No, I don't want to get my license. I don't like realtors. I never had a good realtor." And by the way, part of the reason I became a good realtor is because I learned from the bad realtors that I had as realtors. So anyways, about 3 or 4 months into the business, I called up Joe and I said, "Joe, I can't believe, I knew realtors were a lot of them were really bad. They were much worse than I thought. In fact, if you pick the wrong realtor, it could cost you tens of thousands of dollars." And he's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, if you do a deal and they don't know how to price your home, or if they don't know how to negotiate any of this stuff, it could cost you tens of thousands of dollars. So, if you know anybody looking to buy or sell a home, let me know, and I will interview realtors for them, and I'll find a realtor." So he goes, "Well, actually, my friend Tom is looking for a house." I didn't use Bill there. That's probably the first time I didn't use the name Bill. Anyway, so my friend Tom's looking for a house. So I called Tom, and no, by the way, no idea what the name actually was. It was 23 years ago. I have trouble remembering yesterday. And I said, "Hey, Tom, you know Joe?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah, I love Joe. We talked about Joe for 5 minutes, how we both know Joe." And anyways, I said, "So Joe said you're looking for you're looking to buy a house." He goes, "Yeah." I go, "Well, one of the things I do with my friends and family is I locate realtors for them to get the best realtor you can find, because if you pick the wrong realtor, it could cost you tens of thousands of dollars. And by the way, that's market driven. In California, that could cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Or New York." So anyways, he goes, "That'd be great." I went online. Back then we had Yahoo, not Google. I went on, found 3 realtors on Yahoo, interviewed all 3 of them. By the way, my whole process took me less than an hour, right? Interviewed all 3 of them. I had one that I really liked. She sold a lot of homes. She was a great personality. Hooked them up, and 2 months later, I had a check for $1,400. Now, that's when prices were a lot less expensive than they are today. But that started my thing. Every year, I would do 10 to 15 referrals from my friends up in Boston, because I would call them. Every couple of months, every quarter, I'd call my friends, 20, 30 people, and say, "Hey, maybe looking to buy a sell home, let me call them." And I'd help them out doing this exact same thing. So now with the advent of email technology, obviously, you can do this via email. Now, this email goes out once a month, and it's simply a simple email. One of the things I've learned most about realtors is not all realtors are created equal. Picking the wrong realtor could cost you tens of thousands of dollars. So one of the things I do now as a concierge service for my friends is I interview realtors to find you the best realtor. If you know someone looking to buy or sell a home, send me their contact info so I can help them find the best realtor to save them thousands of dollars. Simple, right? But that'll generate 10, 20 referrals a year for you, depending on the size of your list. And I have to tell you, if I had to do my life over again, I probably would have never sold a house. I probably would just build a referral business. And I'm doing this right now, actually. I'm taking my database, and we're about to start doing it. We're weeding out all the realtors, because most of my phone is realtors. And we're going to start doing this and create another referral business doing this. You can do this through social media. You can do this many, many ways. The one thing you got to be careful is you don't want to insult realtors, even though it's the truth. You don't want to get people mad at you. So I don't do it on social media, but we're doing this through email also. All right. Other subjects from the email. So the first email that goes out, here's some of the subjects to use. So you don't want to write the same email every time. The second email is the same email every time. This one is the first one might be, being a realtor for X, being a realtor, I have access to a lot of vendors who we've vetted. If you need an electrician, plumber, etc., let me know. I'm glad to help. By the way, here are the monthly stats for last month. Plug them in. And with, as you know, as a realtor, I work by referral only, and I can really, really use your help. Blah blah blah. Next one. Are you curious about what's going on in your neighborhood? I'm glad to send you listings, updates of your neighborhood, things that are under contract, or active, under contract, and sold. Just let me know. And then, by the way, here's the stats for last month. Same thing with listing updates for other neighborhoods, market analysis for the homes, mortgage information. All I'm looking for is people to raise their hand. Now, when they raise their hand, I put them in the CRM. So if they respond and want something, I put them in the CRM. Okay, really simple. This is not rocket science. It's just a matter of actually doing it, right? Email time frame. So this is when we email. So your local groups go up. It's not the first one. It's when the market update comes to you, and you send it out. Then 2 weeks later, you send out the things to do. I didn't talk about the second email. Silly me. So your second email that you send monthly is really simple. One of the fun things I get to do as a realtor is share my top 10 things to do in Brevard County, to do in New York, to do in wherever you live, right? And that's it. You list 10, go online, find 10 cool things to do in your area. We all have stuff going out. And then you end with the exact same phrase. As you know, as a realtor, I work by referral only, and I could really, really use your help if you know someone looking to buy or sell a home. So 2 emails. First one goes out when you get the market report from the board. You plug that in, and you say, here's the market update. And then the second one 2 weeks later, and you're doing things for the month. So we're in April, right? So I'd say, here's my top 10 things for May. It's not about the content as much as about the contact, but you want contact that's going to have them open it up. Right? So don't just, take your time and do it good. Don't half-ass this stuff. And then the out-of-area group goes once a month. Right? Very simple, right? All right. So that's all we have for questions. For content. Let's go and answer any questions for me. I'm going to get rid of my share screen here. There's my contact info, by the way. If you want to send me an email, or drop me a phone call. If you need a coaching session, let me know. I'm always glad to help people. Let me stop my share here and open this up. Does anybody have any questions about any of this? I go through this stuff fairly quickly. I know that because I'm ADDD and I talk really fast. Maybe it's because I'm from Boston. I can't help you if you don't do the work. So I'm glad to help people. I coach people every day. I'll only coach people that do the work. I don't have time. I don't charge anymore. We normally get $1,500 an hour for coaching. I don't charge anymore. My only goal is to help you do this. Yes, this is recorded, and it will be sent out to everybody who registered. So in the future, if for some reason you can't attend it for some reason, still register so you get a copy of the recording. Right? All right. So I have no questions. You guys all have this down. I implore you, please put this together, right? Are there open coaching sessions to join with you? Katie, I do these, and if you'll be on my list now, so you'll get all of our stuff that we do open. I also do, let me give this to you guys, because I don't mind you sharing. I will not be on this the next 2 weeks. Give me 1 second. I'm going to find this for you. I do a top producer panel with 8 to 10 of my business partners every week on Thursdays at noon. And I will put that in the link here. You guys are welcome to attend that. Like I said, I'm not going to be there the next 2 weeks. I've got some stuff going on. Then I can't be there. I'm traveling next week, and I got a meeting tomorrow that I couldn't be on. But there's always phenomenal content on there. I've sold, like I said, over 1,000 homes. And most of the people on this call are better than me. So this is called the top. I'm going to put it in here. I'll give you a second to copy it. Producer panel. It's phenomenal. It's really one of my favorite things I do. And there's the link. So you just go on there. Oops, I sent it to myself. Sorry. That did it. So it's called Top Producer Panel, and this is the link. So copy and paste this link somewhere. So you have it. It's Thursdays at noon. Every Thursday at noon. It's phenomenal. Plus, now that you've registered for this, you'll be sure to get notified of any other class. I'm doing these once a month. So feel free to join me. And again, if you need a coaching lesson, feel free to reach out. I'm glad to help anybody. Any other questions about anything? Nope. All right. 40 minutes. I did it in perfect timing. Have a wicked awesome week, guys. I hope you rock, and always here to help. Take care, guys. Bye bye.